Talking Shit with Michał, Single Man Wolfpack is back. I will be talking about UFC 257, I believe. I think it was 257. Magic Mac is back. Um, don't even remember. Oh, so let's start with this. The fights were pretty good. I think I really and I don't know if I'm wrong with this statement, but that's my personal belief. Just because McGregor's fighting, they should not raise the price of pay-per-view. In my opinion, that should be frowned upon. Nothing but respect for McGregor, nothing but respect for Poirier, and the fight card was pretty good overall. But raising the price just because McGregor is fighting, in my opinion, is really not cool. And also, on top of it all, because there was so many people buying the pay-per-view, for a lot of people, the pay-per-view crashed and didn't even really work. So that's also a shit show. But that being said, the fights were pretty cool. I saw prelims, and in my opinion, in many ways, prelims were more exciting. Uh, when you're not talking about the two, like the main event and co-main event. Main event and co-main event, of course, was out of this world exciting, and Michael Chandler showed to everyone how to make a statement. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of questions, this and that, because the fight wasn't that long. But I saw the finishing sequence. He set up that left hand amazingly. He faked the shoot, and then Hooker dropped his hands and got cracked. That's very interesting, and I wonder how Chandler's history is gonna go from now. And some people are saying, oh, uh, Hooker is done, this and that. People, Hooker fought the toughest guys in the division, and even the matches, the fights that he lost were super close, and they were back and forth. Anybody can get cracked, and yeah, he got cracked, and that actually, and some people are also this trying to disclaim Chandler's position, like, oh, Chandler got lucky. No, no, no. He set that punch up. If you watch the finishing sequence, he set it up and he cracked him. He got him uh, straight on the jaw, whatever. Of course, that could be some sort of fortune type of thing, because in MMA, small movement this way, small movement that way. Like Joe Rogan says, if you zig instead of zag, you can wake up, facing the canvas, whatever, right? Obviously, but I think it proves a lot of things about Chandler. We'll see in his next encounters how he's gonna do. But nothing but respect, and also nothing but respect to Hooker. It's so crazy that MMA a lot of times works like that. You are as good as your last fight. But Hooker's fight, as far as I remember, they always are on fire, and he's always very competitive, and he has been winning most of them. And once again, the ones that he lost, almost always they were very close anyway. So he's battle tested against the top of the heat. So what are we talking about? And that also valifies Chandler as a pretty exciting uh, contender. I don't know if contender is a right word. He probably can be. Yeah, he's probably up there with the title picture. We'll see what's gonna happen. Yeah, and I've been trying to. I've been playing with betting on MMA, and let me tell you right away, I didn't bet on that fight, and it's kind of little sour about it, because I did have a feeling Chandler's gonna win, and also I've been listening to people before the fight predictions. A lot of people had Chandler. That also made me wanna bet, and also another thing, I saw a lot of Chandler's videos, even just interviews of him talking. I definitely noticed that his confidence is superior, and I knew if he's not gonna get cracked, it seemed like he's gonna take the win just by the way he was behaving and the way he aligned himself, the way he was speaking about his UFC debut. He basically said in his that his mindset is that he cannot lose, and all that he does, he will do everything to win, and his goal, his mission is to win. And obviously, pretty much all the fighters do that. But you can kind of tell sometimes when somebody is like million percent in it, like there is no way they don't believe it, or like the conviction in his words was there undoubtedly. So I definitely thought mm, he would be a good bet, and also he was an underdog, this and that. Unfortunately, I didn't end up betting on him, which is kind of nuts. I would make some money, but anyway, let me tell you before I get to Conor McGregor about online betting. So I'm not a, I have no experience with online betting at all. I started like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and I don't even bet any sort of money because people bet hundreds, thousands of dollars like it's nothing. I only bet like $10 at the time, which is kind of a joke, right? But still, in and I understand MMA reasonably well. I've been watching MMA for over a decade easily. I'm from the uh, OG times, not OG times, but basically from Ultimate Fighter days. I've been watching UFC, MMA, Bellator, Strikeforce, Pride. I never seen Pride live, but I know about Pride, all those organizations. M1, I also appreciate kickboxing, like, what's the name? I forgot the kickboxing organization, but obviously, like K1, Dream is MMA, of course, doesn't really matter. And what I'm trying to say is that I understand people's styles, I kind of understand who's strong here, who's strong there, and just the styles of the fighters. And let's say I made 50 bets. Out of 50 bets, I got them right. Maybe one third, I got it right. And what I'm saying is that in many fights, I am pretty knowledgeable and I can make a knowledgeable guess because betting is pretty much guessing. And only 30% I make it. And once again, I have some knowledge about it. If you have no knowledge, I don't know how you can make any sort of money on betting. It's pretty much, in my opinion, if you have no knowledge, it's impossible. But if you have knowledge and a little bit of luck, in my opinion, you can actually make pretty good money because there's a lot of options on betting. You can bet, for example, like there's some options you can bet it. Let's say the fight's gonna go to the distance, right? Obviously, you cannot predict that for sure, but if you know what kind of fighters are fighting, and if they pretty much, if you meet two fighters that usually go to the distance, you can kind of assume there is a high probability they will go to the distance. And if you bet on that, of course, the return is not amazing, but it's pretty decent chance you're gonna get your money back and get some winnings. So what I'm saying, there is ways to maximize your chances of winning, and I've been digging into it. I might make an episode just talking about how I approach betting and how I see betting. But overall, I would really discourage people from betting, and especially on MMA, it's completely unpredictable, and even however you see it, however you think it, everything can go completely wrong. For example, yesterday fights, I don't remember the women's names. I it sucks because I really don't remember. But two Brazilian women were fighting. One was more of a stand-up fighter, another was more of a ground fighter. And I was sure the ground fighter is gonna demolish the stand-up fighter. And guess what happened? Stand-up fighter knocked out the ground fighter. And thankfully, I didn't bet on it. Beautiful. Uh, but I would completely lose my money, and I was completely convinced that's what's gonna happen. So long story short, MMA is completely unpredictable, but it's fun though. It's when you bet, even like if you bet $5, the fight already is so much more interesting. And don't get me wrong, MMA is interesting as fuck if you know what's going on. There is definitely a lot of nuances in it if you understand the details in grappling, striking, and combining combining all mixed martial arts. For example, kicks. Kicks by themselves. It's like, oh yeah, what is the fuss about? But guess what? Conor McGregor, in my opinion, huge part of that fight was the kicks, and he was not ready for it. Anyway, let me get to Conor Dustin Poirier fight. First of all, uh, I was very happy that Dustin Poirier won. Not because I hate Conor, I have nothing but respect for Conor, and I really think Conor is one of the legends of MMA, and he's a true pioneer. And he really, not only he talks shit, but he actually earned. And before when he talked shit, he actually made shit happen, and he earned everything he got. That being said, though, I feel Conor train has been derailed. The hype train is over. But don't get me wrong, he's an amazing fighter, and he's the top of the heat still. Even in the fight when he fought Dustin, he definitely there were moments where if he could hit Dustin one more time, follow up on some good shots, he could get Dustin out of there. But the thing, Dustin was definitely ready. And like I was saying, Dustin utilizing calf kicks. There's many things what Dustin did, in my opinion, that really made it happen. Like a head movement too. That definitely he was ready for the quick, because Connor has amazing boxing and super quick cross, and also his accuracy and all that sort of stuff. You could see, especially at the beginning, first round, Connor cracking Dustin more than multiple times, and it would seem almost too easy. But the thing is, Dustin has been hit, but he actually avoided many shots, many, and he probably avoided more than he got hit with. So that even alone, the way Dustin moved, the way he approached, and also the kicks, there was a lot of moments where when Connor focused on the kicking, I'm sorry, Connor was focusing on the boxing. So that's another thing. When Connor was in a boxing stance, sort of boxing stance, like boxing mode, when he was trying to get Dustin with his striking, he would put all the weight on that leg, and Dustin utilized that. And another thing which is huge, when Dustin took Connor down, that's if it's few things. One thing, right away, Connor didn't know what Dustin's gonna do, and he had to watch out for wrestling. So that changed everything for sure, and I believe that's why Connor wasn't kicking himself, because Dustin showed him like, oh, I can take you down, and luckily for Dustin, he took him down without any effort in the first round. So Connor had to watch out for that. Another thing is, for sure, he got Connor a bit tired because of it. That's for sure. It's also like a factor. And basically, Dustin made Connor guess constantly, constantly. It was, and the thing is, you could see that, in my opinion, Poirier, he was quite intimidated, especially the first and middle of the second round. He was very intimidated of Connor boxing, and he was. It would seem he was almost like scared. Is definitely not a right word, but almost there. Like extremely cautious. He definitely didn't want to exchange too much when Connor was throwing full speed, full power. But towards the end, when Dustin did his damage already with the calf and uh, once again, Dustin's movement and body movement too, but also head movement. The way he was avoiding Connor was really good, and I knew that if they gonna get into like head boot type of exchanges, Dustin's gonna get him. Like you can believe me or not, but I truly knew it. And as it happened when they got to the phone boot type of, they were both in each other's range. I really saw it like that's that because I know that's Dustin game. If you watch his last 3, 4 fights, he really shines when in the fire. Like when people are throwing, his countering, firing back, taking the shots. He is extremely good in a phone boot type of fight. And I knew Connor is more of a rangy fighter with a superior speed and accuracy. So long story short, it seems like Dustin's game prevailed. And yeah, that's. I'm so happy for Dustin, and please don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people of Connor haters. I was happy that Connor lost, and let me tell you why. Because once again, Connor's an amazing fighter. He's amazing, and he earned everything he earned everything. And but the thing was, he was overhyped, and Dustin was underhyped. It's so crazy that people did it. I heard so many people that, oh, Dustin, people would literally say Dustin has no fucking chance in the world, especially if you look at the first fight. But I saw the first fight, and yes, Connor knocked him the fuck out. Yes, it's true. But if you see the first fight, you can notice that Dustin was actually, in some moments, Dustin was doing very good. He tagged Connor multiple times, and in many exchanges, actually, Dustin got better of him. But guess what happened? Connor was, and let me tell you this, Connor won fair and square, 100%. I'm not arguing that. But Connor clipped Dustin in like an awkward way in the back of the head, and that definitely made a huge impact on the fight, and Dustin got knocked the fuck out. But that punch, yes, it was thrown with intention, and it was definitely accurate, this and that, and Dustin got knocked out, obviously, so it worked, this and that. But it was a little bit, a fortunate punch because literally like half an inch this way, half an inch that way, Dustin probably wouldn't be dropped from that punch. And it was just like an awkward punch, clip, back of the head. So basically, Conor in that fight didn't really had to go through any sort of hell, and he got that punch in, and he got away easy. But what I'm saying, before that happened, Dustin was doing very good. If you're interested, go back and watch the first fight. Dustin got a lot of combinations, a lot of counters in, and he definitely showed a lot of looks. And it made me think before the second fight, even though the everybody was like Connor's gonna demolish him, I was like, I don't know. Dustin is extremely good in close quarters combat, and Connor. I really thought Connor in close quarter combat, like phone boot fight, is not that impressive. He's more of a range striker and timing type of striker, and also counter type of striker. But the phone boot fight it was definitely Dustin, and I knew Dustin has grappling. I knew Dustin has kicks, and obviously Dustin last couple fights that Dustin had are out of this world, amazing, crazy good. So how the hell people were sure he's gonna lose? I don't know. But it was good for me because I bet on Dustin and I won all my money. I won some pretty beautiful money. But like I'm saying, I'm betting small numbers, so I won like $100, less than $100. But I put in like 30, I won like 100. Let's say, uh, yeah. Long story short, Connor's gonna be back for sure. He's gonna fuck people up. He just needs to figure out certain things. How to defend, how to be, basically how to utilize his, because with Dustin fight I really believe he didn't use his kicks because he was intimidated of the takedown because the Dustin took him down right away. But yeah, if Conor utilizes all his weapons and he can figure out how not to get kicked in the calf too much and all the stuff, he'll be destroying people and he can still be a champion, no doubt about it. But one thing that I want to say, let's give some praise to Dustin because he is battle proven and he's been through the like his journey is way hard. Like Connor's amazing fighter. Once again, please don't get me wrong. I love Connor, respect Connor, and he literally made MMA better, bigger, stronger, faster. And thanks to him, we have such an amazing show fights, and we really MMA has a lot uh, Conor basically made MMA better overall. Not with everything, some antics of his are not, but overall he's like a and double champion, the first double champion of UFC, all this sort of stuff. Conor is, and what I really love about Conor, that he really come out of like nowhere, and his mindset, he even when he was like 17 or 18 he would say I'm gonna be double UFC champion, and guess what, he made it. After later I think his antics are a little bit too much, and that's also, it's I don't hate the guy once again, but it's also his antics, in my opinion. Right now, his antics, he's not like a good role model for kids and young fighters, in my opinion, because his antics are a little bit too much. And in my opinion, there is a little bit more to life than just, having a bare chest everywhere and driving Rolls Royce and showing off. I think MMA is a little bit, should, in my opinion, MMA kind of should be a little bit more about respect, and all those values. And don't get me wrong, Conor has all of this, and he really is respectful, this and that. But his image, his antics are not. And unfortunately, a lot of people that don't know everything about Conor, they just see the antics, they take him, in the wrong way. And I believe if more and more young fighters gonna take the, like Conor shenanigans route, that's gonna be a shit show. Like it's gonna be terrible. But if people take the Conor work his way up route, then it's beautiful. Also, one thing that I want to say, Conor and Dustin Poirier, another rematch, in my opinion. Conor needs to work his way up before he can fight Poirier, because Poirier had to work his way up before he fought Conor again. So yeah, it seems fair. But if Poirier wants to make some good money and do it again, I would be for it too. It's just if Poirier wants it, because he can make good money off of that fight for sure. And at the end of the day, and I understand Connor's antics, because at the end of the day, the money is kind of important, especially when you put your health on the line. Anyway, people, the main event, the UFC. UFC is the shit. I cannot wait for Jan Blachowicz, legendary Polish power, to go in there with Adesanya. Let me, maybe I can talk about this. At first, I was very concerned about that fight because obviously Adesanya has superior striking and he's a wizard. He really is in Matrix when he's doing his striking. But I also listen to a lot of people talk about this matchup, and in my opinion, people are making a very good point that Jan Blachowicz is a bit bigger and pretty sure he's stronger. And obviously, we'll see how the fight goes. But if Jan can really hit him with his power, and also if he can like dictate, like grapple, he can really overpower Adesanya. And if that's the case, I think Adesanya will lose. But the question is if Adesanya will be able to be elusive enough, and if Jan's gonna open himself up enough so Adesanya can freely strike with him. Because if it's gonna be purely striking battle, nothing else, I really don't see this. It's not a great matchup for Jan, but if Jan can implement all of his MMA skills, he should demolish Adesanya. But that's what I'm saying. It's a coin flip, 50-50, depending how the fight goes. Anyway, we live in a beautiful time. MMA right now is fucking crazy. Oh, another fight that I'm excited for, Stipe versus Ngannou. That's fucking crazy. And obviously, some people say it's gonna be the same thing as before. Maybe I'm not gonna be surprised if Stipe can take him down and uh, rape him on the ground. Yeah, for sure, it's gonna be the same type of fight. I I would even predict Stipe is gonna end him quicker, but that's the thing. Ngannou has unbelievable power, and any sort of shot can destroy Stipe. Even in the first fight, Stipe got hit clean maybe once or twice, and not even completely clean, and he almost went out completely. You know what I'm saying. So obviously, Ngannou can definitely win. We'll see what's gonna happen. MMA right now is exciting, and yeah, take care, people. Give me your thoughts, ideas. Once again, disclaimer: I don't hate Connor. Connor is an amazing fighter, and he will bring a lot of amazing entertainment. But we gotta give prize to Dustin because Dustin went through much harder road than Connor, believe it or not, and he really earned everything he's got. And in my opinion, in my eyes, if Khabib doesn't come back, Dustin is the champion, no doubt about it. Anybody that disagrees, I understand. We all have our opinions, but Dustin earned that shit. Take care, people. Be safe. Bye bye.